Hi, writers. I know this is the video you've all been waiting for, which is what content should I even post as a writer on Instagram, especially if you don't have a book out yet, right? If you're in the process of doing that, what do you even post about? And I think that is one of the primary questions that I get and will continue to get. And I just would like to start off that while, and I know I see it all the time, it's like, do this to make your videos go viral and blah, 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 right? I've helped thousands of people hit 100K followers. I don't play by the same rules as those content creators. And it really frustrates me when they're not just like, download my free guide, but like, buy my plan, right? So I just wanted to lay this all out is that in the end, the content that you create is going to be unique to you. And in this video, I'm going to point out a couple of things that you can look at and try, but I want to acknowledge that we are all very different people. We write very different things. We have different personalities. So in the end, you're going to have to do what feels comfortable to you while maybe pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. But then also looking as you post content, it's kind of a double-edged sword. You have to post content to see which parts of your content do well and connect with people, right? So it is a little bit of a testing process. And that's the whole point of the Reels challenge. I want you to take a risk, try something new, right? So in the end, you're going to hate that this is the answer, but you do have to figure out your own content. And like I said, I don't have a magic answer. Right now I have 2,600 followers. So I haven't gone crazy viral. I haven't done anything crazy. But I will tell you the followers that I have are some of the most amazing, wonderful people that fit me, my community that I'm trying to create, my personality, who will like my stories, right? So I have found with my content extremely valuable followers. And some of you are here right now, and I'm shouting you out right now. Thank you for being here. So everything that I'm going to say is in that regard, right? I don't want you to go crazy viral and suddenly have 100K followers. I want you to have the right followers, right? The ones who are going to buy your book. Because in the end, while, okay, it is helpful to be in front of 100,000 eyeballs, right? What if only 100 of those people really care about your book, right? Whereas if I have 2,000 followers and 1,000 people that are going to buy my book, that is so much more impactful to me. So you really have to know what your goal is, right? And acknowledge that to yourself right here. Are you doing this for followers? Are you doing it for the little ego boost it gives you? Like, yeah, I got all these followers. Or are you doing this for your writing and for your business, your brand, your books, right? And about connecting with the right people, right? And it doesn't matter which camp you're in, right? As long as you know it ahead of time. So that's my little statement there. Now, that being said, there are a lot of things that you can do, and I hope that you try throughout the challenge, right? I recently taught a class to my realtors where I had them practice a simple method for making reels, which was literally picking a trending audio, which I'll talk about in another video, and then literally standing back and pointing randomly at the screen in time with the music. And then after in Instagram editing and adding text, like, where the text appears, disappears, appears, wherever they're pointing, right? So I had them do this. And a lot of them were like, oh, it's so bad. And they didn't post it. But the ones who did got really good views, right? Like one woman, 18,000 views when all of her previous videos had gotten 300. And that's because I think, obviously, I will never know for sure, but the use of trending audio, which she had never done before, the ability, because it was text on screen, that people could watch it even without audio. So it worked for that. The video suited her niche and who she was trying to find. And in the end, I think it did really well for those purposes, right? So I want you to remember to keep this simple. You don't have to spend 2 hours planning a script or a special thing you're going to act out, right? Keep it simple, super simple, right? Like I said in a previous video, we need to batch create content. We need to make probably 7 videos in one sitting, maybe, right? So we need to keep this simple, quick, and effective. So that is tip number 1, keep it simple. Now, tip number 2 is to actually research and recreate, right? There are other amazing writers here on Instagram, or if you go to TikTok, like I look for research everywhere, right? And I'm going to see what my fellow writers are doing. And if they do something that works really well, I'm going to, save that, think about it, and recreate it in my own voice. Now, I am not personally opposed to like directly riffing off of what someone did, like doing the same thing. But when I do that, I do like to acknowledge the original creator in my caption or tag them, right? So it'd say, oh my gosh, thanks for this idea. I absolutely loved it. You're amazing, right? I want to shout them out and acknowledge like I'm directly copying them. However, if it's a trend like the one that's going around now is like, you're so funny. And then you say like a really deep, dark secret, right? If you see a writer do that, you can, rinse and create your own, right? So you can do the same thing, but make it your own, right? So think about it that way. When you are scrolling, you're doing your research, right? Check out what people who are slightly ahead of you and followers are doing. So if you're like me, who has 2,000, maybe I'm going to look at someone who has 10,000, right? What are they doing? What's working for them? But then I'm, trying to manipulate it to be me, right? I'm going to shout out Summer Weaver. If you know her on Instagram, took off, I think she has 20K followers now, but when we were starting, we were like, tit for tat, right? But she has created some awesome videos that suit her niche, right? She's a mom, she has young kids, she's writing during nap time, and that has really resonated with people, and she's grown that way. She also shares free resources. So while I'm not a mom with young kids, I can kind of learn from her in that, ooh, sharing free resources might be useful to me, or sharing about the other things in my life that conflict with writing that I'm still writing. For me, it's like I go to grad school, so I don't have a ton of time to write. So I might talk about that in my videos, right? So that's how you can create and get inspiration from people who are slightly ahead of you in the game, right? And it's a great opportunity. And that's why I shout out Summer Yahoo, because she's done such good work, right? And I can't wait to read her book, right? And so we're all supporting each other. So if you watch my videos and you want to riff off of them, go ahead and do it, right? In the end, and you guys know this, if you watch my other videos, I believe that there's space for all of us, right? On the bookshelf. Because readers are so voracious, they'll finish your book in a week and you won't be able to pump out the next one fast enough. So they need other books to satisfy them until your next one comes out. So we can all exist on the bookshelf, right? So when you're making content, do your research, compare yourself to others in a good way, right? Get inspired by other creators. Now, I do go down the rabbit hole and then I'll be scrolling videos forever. So, like I said in my batch creating video, set a timer for 20 minutes, scroll, interact, right? As you're saving videos, you might want to recreate, comment on them, heart them, right? Engage with the creator, right? Because that will show Instagram you're also really involved in the community and it will potentially help you in the algorithm. We don't know for sure, but I feel like the more that I engage with other people, the more Instagram kind of rewards me, right? So that's tip number 2 is, look at other creators and see what they're doing and honestly recreate it. Right? As long as if you're doing something that's very close and identical, you are shouting out the creator that you found the trend from or that sort of thing, right? Um, Number three, I kind of mentioned it before, but trending audios or trending videos like that, "You're so funny" one, are good things to keep in mind, right? And in that trending audio, I'll show you how to see, what's trending. And you want to choose something that's on the upward part of the trend. So maybe it's only been used by like 50K people so far instead of 4 million, right? And you want to kind of be on the upward trend of using the song. Although, using trending audios doesn't always work, but that's a good option, right? I mentioned a little bit earlier in the keeping simple part is like the video where you're not talking, but you're on screen and you're just pointing and text appears. That works really, really well. And you can suit it directly to your niche, right? I could say, "I hate it when fantasy characters do this," and then this, right? And it can be easy. It can be set to music, bang, boom, done, right? So you want to keep things simple. Now, the next thing with content is that you want to provide some sort of, benefit. If you're talking to other readers and writers, maybe you're going to talk about fantasy tropes that you enjoy or don't enjoy, right? So that's where you can start to make longer form content. So after you've done kind of the viral, trendy, dance to music, recreate things, right? Then you're going to want to start to show more of your voice, right? So can you get on for a minute and talk about, something frustrating from a book you just read or something you really liked from a movie you just watched, right? You're going to start to want to incorporate that. And then as you have your book, then you can start hinting things about what happens in your book. Now, I hear the people who are like, "Well, I don't want to say too much about my book because I don't want it to get stolen or ripped off of." And I get that, right? So you may want to hold back from some of the more, dedicated part of your book till, you're published, you're copyrighted, and then you're more protected. But it's great to kind of like talk about characters or little one-liners, right, that your character said to start to, engage people, right? What is the conflict and tension your character is going to be facing off with? For example, I did a really little stupid skit that was like, my main character thinking she's the world because she's the main character in the book's about her. And then it's like her brother, her sassy brother coming in and being like, "Get out of the way, sis, because the readers are going to love me." Right. And that was like, did really well for me because one, they want to know why my protagonist is so confident and, it was all about me. Right. But they think it's funny, like older brother being the sassy older brother being like, "Get out of here. It's my story," right? Because we know as a side character, you're going to like him, right? So that's how you would start to kind of drip your own story ideas or that sort of thing. I know it's super general, right? But like I said, you're going to find the content that works for you. And in this challenge, try a little bit of everything, right? Try a video that's just, a picture with text on the screen. Try a video where you're just pointing and text is appearing. Try one where you use a trending audio and kind of act it out or recreate it. Do some where you start a little series where you're talking about something you know a lot about. Share a little bit about your characters, share a little bit about your story. This is your opportunity to try things, right? And then you're going to have a backlog of 30 days of content that we can look back, look at analytics and say, "Wow, this one did really well," and kind of break it down. Why did it do really well? Should I recreate it? Is there a way that I can, do the same thing, but tweak it a little bit, right? That's how you're going to start to generate your content. And again, you may go viral. That would be awesome, right? With Summers, I think it was one of her resource ones just took off for her, right? And that's what started the trajectory of growth for her followers, which is amazing. But you can also grow your followers slow and steady. I think I've been at, I'm getting consistently like 20 to 50 followers a month, which is great for me. I'm like, okay, awesome. And they are amazing people that are liking, engaging with my content. So again, you have to be true and authentic to you. Don't trust just those viral Instagram videos that are like, I'll tell you how to go viral and you're going to pay me $80 to find out how, right? Because in the end, I don't know if you've ever read through their little things, like the tactics are time consuming and annoying and not authentic to you always, because it's like, yeah, I'm doing things that will get people angry, or I'm not for that, right? So this is my little opinion on content creation, is just to be true and authentic to yourself, grow at your own pace, keep trying, right? But when it comes to, like, look back at your own data, make sure you're a creator account or a business account so you can look back at those insights and say, oh my gosh, awesome. I'm hitting, women in their 30s, which is exactly my audience. Or maybe you're skewing and you're like, this isn't the right audience, so I need to adapt my content to make sure I'm speaking to my audience, right? And if you participate in the challenge, I would be happy to, after the challenge is over, kind of sit down with you more one-on-one and say, okay, let's see what happened here. And why do we think those numbers and that data came through? So I hope to offer that as a part of participating in the challenge. But hopefully this was helpful and kind of gave you a scope of the buckets you can kind of start creating in to start generating your content. If you have any questions or you've tried something cool, drop it in the comments below. I'd love to see it, kind of scroll those of what's working for other people. And again, if you are going to recreate exactly something that someone else did, make sure you shout them out, because we're all in a community together. So I hope this is helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.